Somewhere above your backyard, a missile is hunting. Not a drone, not a jet, a bird. And if you blink, you'll miss the deadliest attack in the natural world. A pigeon explodes into feathers over a quiet suburban garden. Sparrows vanish from a feeder in panic. Every small bird freezes. Because somewhere high above the rooftops, a peregrine falcon has begun its dive. And what happens next pushes the limits of biology itself. This is the story of the fastest animal on Earth, and why your backyard may secretly be part of its hunting ground. The peregrine falcon is not just fast, it is terrifyingly precise. At first glance, they don't even look extraordinary. Slate gray feathers, sharp black eyes, a hooked beak built like a blade. But hidden inside that compact body is one of evolution's most extreme predators. A hunting peregrine can exceed 320 kilometers per hour during a stoop, the high-speed dive used to strike prey in midair. That's faster than a Formula One car, faster than a cheetah, faster than many roller coasters, and unlike machines, this bird does it with feathers and bone. But here's the strange part. Peregrines are increasingly appearing in cities, suburbs, and even quiet neighborhoods with gardens. To most homeowners, the signs are subtle. Sudden silence at the bird feeder, a burst of feathers on the lawn, pigeons exploding into the air without warning. Many people never even see the falcon itself. Because peregrines don't hunt like hawks circling low over fields, they hunt from above, extremely high above. A peregrine may perch silently on a church tower, apartment block, radio mast, or even a tall tree near suburban gardens. From there, it watches everything below with vision so sharp it can detect prey from over a kilometer away. Then it waits, and waits, until one bird makes a mistake. Most backyard birds are not safe from peregrines. Their prey list is enormous. Pigeons, starlings, blackbirds, doves, parakeets, shorebirds, ducks, even bats. But urban peregrines especially love pigeons. Pigeons are abundant, predictable, and heavy enough to provide serious energy. And where humans gather, pigeons gather too, which means many modern cities accidentally became perfect peregrine habitat. In fact, peregrines have adapted so well to human environments that skyscrapers now function like artificial cliffs. Nest boxes installed on tall buildings around the world have helped their populations recover dramatically after near extinction in the mid-20th century, because there was a time when peregrines almost disappeared completely. During the 1940s through the 1960s, pesticides like DDT spread through ecosystems and entered the food chain. The chemicals weakened peregrine eggshells so badly that many cracked before chicks could hatch. Populations collapsed across Europe and North America. For a while, the fastest hunter on Earth was losing to chemistry. But conservation programs, pesticide bans, and captive breeding changed everything. Today, peregrines are one of conservation's greatest comeback stories. And now, they are returning to our neighborhoods. But their greatest mystery is still their speed. How can a living creature survive a dive faster than a race car? The answer begins with shape. Everything about a peregrine is engineered for airflow. Long pointed wings reduce drag. Rigid feathers lock tightly together. Its chest muscles are massively powerful. Even its nostrils contain a hidden aerodynamic structure. Inside each nostril is a tiny cone-shaped baffle. Without it, rushing air during a stoop could damage the falcon's lungs or make breathing impossible. Jet engines use a surprisingly similar principle to regulate airflow at high speed. Evolution solved the problem millions of years before humans understood it. And then there are the eyes. At full stoop speed, the pressure of wind would dry and damage ordinary eyes almost instantly. Peregrines protect theirs using a translucent third eyelid called a nictitating membrane, a biological windshield that keeps vision clear during the dive. Because they cannot miss. A peregrine doesn't simply collide with prey, it strikes with surgical precision. As the falcon drops from above, it folds its wings tight against its body like a fighter jet. Gravity takes over. The bird becomes a living projectile. Then, at the final moment, it opens its talons. The impact alone can kill instantly. Some prey are struck so hard they lose feathers in an explosive cloud before even reaching the ground. And yet, Despite this violence, peregrines are astonishingly controlled. Researchers studying high-speed footage discovered that peregrines actively steer during stoops using tiny feather adjustments to track moving prey mid-air. Imagine trying to hit a flying pigeon while falling from the sky at highway speeds. Now imagine doing it successfully over and over again. That is what makes peregrines so extraordinary. But there's another challenge hidden inside the stoop: the force. During extreme dives and pullouts, peregrines experience intense G-forces as they rapidly change direction near the target. Their bodies are built to withstand stresses that could seriously injure many animals. Strong breast muscles stabilize the wings, specialized tendons absorb impact, and lightweight but rigid bones keep the body aerodynamic while resisting enormous strain. Every part of the peregrine is designed around speed. Even its heartbeat changes. During hunting dives, peregrines enter an intense state of focus. Their entire nervous system is optimized for tracking movement. Scientists studying raptors found that birds of prey process visual information at incredible speeds, allowing them to react faster than humans can consciously follow. To a peregrine, the world slows down, which is why prey birds often seem doomed before they even realize the attack has begun. But surprisingly, peregrines do miss, and when they miss, the consequences can be brutal. At stoop speeds, even a small mistake can send the falcon tumbling through the air. Some attacks end with prey escaping at the final second through unpredictable evasive turns. Pigeons are especially difficult targets. Their rapid directional changes and tight flock formations evolved partly because of predators exactly like peregrines. When a falcon attacks a flock, pigeons compress into dense swirling groups called murmuration-like formations. The constant motion confuses the predator and makes it harder to isolate a single bird. But peregrines have their own strategy. Instead of chasing the center of the flock, they often target individuals drifting slightly away from the group. One mistake, one gap, 1 second too slow. That is usually all the peregrine needs. But when exactly do they hunt? For backyard bird watchers, timing matters. Peregrines are usually most active during early morning and late afternoon, when many birds are feeding or commuting between roosting sites. Those are the moments gardens become vulnerable. Bird feeders can unintentionally create hunting hotspots. Large gatherings of pigeons, doves, or starlings attract attention from above. And once a peregrine identifies a reliable hunting location, it may revisit repeatedly. Some homeowners unknowingly host regular aerial ambushes without ever seeing the predator. All they notice are feathers and fear. The reaction of smaller birds to peregrines is almost immediate. Songbirds have specific alarm calls for aerial predators. Flocks change direction instantly. Pigeons tighten into defensive formations. Some birds freeze completely under cover. Because against a stooping peregrine, speed alone is often useless. Even squirrels and crows sometimes react nervously when peregrines appear overhead. Entire backyard ecosystems can suddenly fall silent for several minutes after a hunting pass. For experienced birdwatchers, silence itself can become a warning sign. But peregrines are not always solitary hunters. Most hunts are performed alone, especially outside breeding season. A single bird is more than capable of taking prey. However, breeding pairs sometimes cooperate near nesting territories. One falcon may flush birds into the air while the other positions for attack. Some pairs have been observed coordinating astonishing aerial maneuvers around cliffs and city buildings. And during nesting season, their aggression intensifies dramatically. Peregrines become fiercely territorial around their chicks. Crows, hawks, gulls, and even humans may be dive-bombed if they approach too closely. For a bird that weighs barely more than a loaf of bread, they possess unbelievable confidence. But perhaps the most fascinating behavior begins after the chicks hatch. Because young peregrines are not born knowing how to hunt. They must learn, and the training is brutal. For the first few weeks, the chicks remain hidden in the nest, usually on cliff ledges, skyscrapers, towers, or bridges. The parents bring them pieces of fresh prey, tearing meat into strips small enough to swallow. At this stage, the chicks are completely dependent. But everything changes once their flight feathers begin to grow. The adults slowly stop making life easy. At first, the parents force the young birds to jump and flap along ledges to strengthen their wings and chest muscles. Then come short practice flights. Many young peregrines crash, some miss landings completely. Others tumble awkwardly onto rooftops or branches, because mastering flight at peregrine speeds is unbelievably difficult. But the real training begins in the air. Adult peregrines will intentionally release prey for their chicks to chase mid-flight. Sometimes they drop dead birds from above, forcing the juveniles to dive after them before they hit the ground. Other times, the adults perform aerial demonstrations, showing the young exactly how to bank, turn, climb, and strike. It is essentially a deadly flight school in the sky. And the failure rate is high. Young peregrines are far less accurate than adults. Many early hunts fail completely. Some juveniles even starve during their first year because they never fully master the stoop. Because speed alone is not enough. A true peregrine must calculate timing, wind, angle, distance, and the evasive movements of another flying animal, all within seconds. But when a juvenile finally succeeds for the first time, the transformation is extraordinary. The awkward fledgling becomes an apex aerial predator.